logic can take you so far because logic is limited, it's confined in your mind, and mind is finite. Welcome to Satori Mindset Podcast. My name is Yuki Yoshii, and this is your time, your moment to reflect on yourself, your life, and to integrate your journey to feel aligned, and to ultimately make the awakened version of you a default mode. So let's begin. I'll talk about some ingredients of manifestation. And the first ingredients that I want to talk about is something that you might not be actually expecting, which is intuition. So I see intuition a major part of the manifesting process. And what I mean by that is that what is manifestation? Manifestation is to move what's being created in the spiritual plane psycho-emotionally into the physical form. So everything that we see in the physical realm has once been in this sort of mental picture idea, but where the idea comes from, the desire, where the desire comes from, the urge of the soul. So I personally like to really explain and talk about everything that we experience in this physical realm from a spiritual point of view, because without talking about things and everything from a spiritual point of view, I think the whole conversation is incomplete. And I have come to realize that what we are here to do is to create an expression, an experience in this physical realm, but the whole thing is to move the energy. Yeah, that's the only way that I can explain it, right? Move the energy from the spiritual realm, psycho-emotionally, into the physical form. Now, I have been sharing this idea that intuition is my first language. Technically, I speak three languages, Japanese and Spanish and English, but then those are additional three languages that I speak, but intuition is my first language. And I believe that each and every one of us, first language is intuition. Now, intuition is, for me, is a conversation with Creator, conversation with God, conversation with the infinite universal intelligence. So you have this intuitive hit and you begin seeing different signs everywhere. And the way that the God can speak to you sometimes can be a voice. Yeah. It doesn't appear as a voice too much for me, but you start seeing signs, you start seeing coincidences, you start seeing having an idea, intuitive hit. And all those stuff is something that we want to be attuned to, because after all, what we are creating in this physical realm, I have the way that I see is that, this vessel that I have, the mind and the body that I have, and the identity that I'm forming, right? I'm producing these YouTube videos, different things, and you're watching, right? That this expression that I am creating is I am allowing that God energy to speak and flow to and through me. So it spreads and it transfer to somebody else and everybody else. And the moment I started to look at my life as something much, much bigger than my individual self, and the moment I started to look at my life and my life path as a story and a messenger. And sometimes I started to use the term spaceship because I have this song that I really love, sung by Leon Rimes. And the spaceship is that, I am the spaceship to take everybody home, right? And the truth is that I am the spaceship to realize that you are a spaceship to take somebody else's home, right? So we're walking each other home is something that has been true for me. And to awaken into that truth is what we are here to do, spiritually speaking. So when we understand all of those background information and perspective, I have come to realize that intuition is one of the most important ingredients in manifesting. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the basic process of manifestation. Yeah. Now, many people, manifestation is about allowing what God wants to express and want you to express, and you start collaborating. Yeah. Each one of us has much, much bigger power inside of us than we possibly think. And that power can be born and can be initiated by actually integrating and noticing and accessing that power, the channel that we can open up to express through us. And here's how it looks on a day-to-day basis. When we come to the conversation of manifestation, you start with intention and vision, right? And then tapping into the desire of what is it that you want to create in your life. Yeah. And often what I found is that people tends to minimize what they want also based on their belief that they're in. So they cannot see the expanded version of the one by limited by the belief that they have, right? That can be in the context of money, how much they want to be earning. They can be the type of life that they are living. If somebody is living in a certain, for instance, small village or something, and they have not been having access to different resources, they might not even begin to want to travel around the world. It's interesting. Traveling the world is something that a lot of people are seeking. I personally don't have too much desire to do, only because I have actually not only traveled, but lived in 3 different continents. And I personally, to be exposed to different culture and especially the food is fun and rewarding. I like to have that inner journey, inner travel a little bit more. I found that wherever I end up going, I go to my inner journey. So it doesn't really matter for me where I'm at. That's my personal experience. Anyway, intuition is the ability to open up your mind and go beyond the rational mind to begin accessing different information. So I really, really love the quote that Einstein said that I live by, which is the intuitive mind is your sacred gift, and the rational mind is the faithful servant. We have forgotten, we have created a society that forgotten that servant. No, no, no. We have created a society that honor the servant and has forgotten the gift. I almost forgot the quote, but that's what it is, right? So he emphasizes the intuitive mind, but the way that most people are living in this physical world is emphasizing the intellectual, rational mind. And logic can take you so far because logic is limited in it's confined in your mind, and the mind is finite. But the intuition is an ability to sense beyond your 5 senses. And this is my favorite saying, right? So many people try to think logically to understand how things can happen or where they can go possibly. Yeah. And it's very interesting that people tends to fall into that trap when nobody, and when I say nobody, nobody can probably explain rationally or logically how things happen when they look at their past, present story that you have lived. Let's do a little bit of exercise together though. So when you look back your 5 years before life, 10 years before life, and then however long you have lived, can you rationally and logically explain how you met to this particular person or how you ended up going to a certain place or how you ended up connecting with some sort of circumstance? Can you logically and rationally explain that? You probably cannot because that's not how it happened. None of the things that happen in our life is, I can tell you from my own experience, right? I'm living here where I live. I cannot explain to you how logically it happened. Things started to unfold, things happened, and I met different people, and I was guided almost to arrive here, even the thing that I'm doing. Yeah. So it's very illogical to try to think logically how the future will be created or unfold when nothing from the past that we experience happened logically. Does that make sense? Does that make sense how much we're kind of trapped into this sort of rational and intellectual mind, logical, rational mind, when nothing that we are experiencing in the moment to moment happens rationally. So we want to open up to that intuitive mind. We're going to go with the flow. We're going to have an open vessel to invite information, inspiration to circulate to and through us. The more you are open to that, the less resistance you will have. The more you're open to that, the more creative state you're in, which is the opposite of survival state. And the more you are open to all the signs and informations that come to and through you, because you're in an expansive state, you will be in collaboration with God, with infinite intelligence. And that would be the first ingredients that I want to suggest to all of you to manifest with ease. Yeah, that's the key. We're not trying to manifest with resistance, but manifesting with ease, because the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is the faithful servant. We have created a society that honor the servant and has forgotten the gift. Yeah. So let me know if you have any question, anything that spoke to you the most. And many people ask me, what is the best way to cultivate intuition? So intuition is not something that we need to learn how to speak. We already have one. So what's preventing to access the intuition is our rational and logical mind. So the best way that I can suggest to cultivate or to access the intuition that's already inside of you is to begin looking at how much we are rationalizing and logicalizing stuff that might be in the way that's dimming our intuition, and begin removing to try to understand logically how things are happening. And the more we exercise that, the more you will be comfortable leaning into intuition. This is another thing. Many people who are leading their life logically and rationally feels uncomfortable stepping into intuition because it feels uncertain. This is interesting. And then uncertainty is fearful for the ego, for the rational mind, because the rational mind wants to see from A to B, B to C, all the way to Z. Yeah. But then the uncertainty is a infinite possibilities that is expansive and exciting for the intuitive mind. Uncertainty is only uncertain for the rational mind. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you for listening to the podcast. A message I want you to take with you is this: you have a power to choose how you see yourself and the world at any given moment. So stay connected to that wisdom.